to a story time this time around. This is going to be another bow fishing trip I went on. I had a friend that, he was a little bit of a fisherman, never been bow fishing, so we took him out. He learned he couldn't, wasn't that good with the bow, but I also carried a gig with me, and he was pretty good with the gig. Part of the reason he wasn't that good with the bow is he'd never really shot a bow before, and that's why I kept a gig in the boat at all, as well for when we went. So we're out there, and we went to the Cooper River, up between the Tees and the dam. There was a small area with flats that, if the tide was running right, it was pretty clear. Sometimes it got so low you couldn't get up into it, but as long as it wasn't churned up muddy, you could get in and around. And we were having a decent night. We got a couple carp, a couple mudfish. There's more mudfish, seems like, in this area than in other places, and we got some gar. Also got a catfish or two, so doing okay so far. But we're cruising around, cruising up some of these little cuts and creeks in this thing. Went a couple places I had never been up into before, and of course I'm having to spot the fish and show him, tell him to shoot him or not, or gig him or not. And it was, go ahead, gig it, or gig it was what I was saying. Had to be loud over the generator so I could be heard, and that plays into what we're talking about. So about halfway through the night, we pull up in this one little area, and suddenly I noticed this 4 or 5 foot little alligator holding on bottom. It's right off to the side, and it's on his side of the boat. And he starts poising, getting ready to hit it because he noticed it was something different. And I was like, "No, gator, no." Well, he thought I said gig it, and he rams that gig down towards it. Thankfully, gators have bone scoots where that gig kind of hit that, glanced off, and the little gator scooted on off. But I want you to know I was a little upset, and I explained to him. He said, "No, I thought you said get it, get it." I was like, "No, it was gator. It was a gator. You can't mess with alligators." Back then there was even no alligator season. It was interesting, and we finished up the night and had fun. I wasn't that mad with him, but yeah, it's one of those things where you got to understand communication. You got to understand what you're doing, and you need to pay attention to things. And there was a lesson learned involved in that, especially for him. This is just one of many times, and I'll probably tell another gator story here shortly. It's par for the course that you ran into them down here in the south, and this one's pretty interesting. And the one other one I've got to tell, which may be a few weeks, but it's pretty interesting. We'll hear about it. All right, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next week.